abomination. They need to be wiped from the face of this earth.
Vampires with machine guns. It's not allowed.
The night is ours.
That was here when we moved in. For God's sake, do something!
Well, that's not going to help, is it? Okay, it was pretty helpful. Thank you very much.
Who chose every last single one of them?
Get back! Get back, everyone, in the name of God, the Son and the Holy Smoke, I command you. You get back!
Did he just say they?
Why horror comedy, first and foremost? And what were the challenges in getting the balance of both horror and comedy?
Why horror comedy? Sorry, just move that off the wall. Why horror comedy? Basically, the script was a budget-specific film that me and Danny King developed with Dexter Fletcher. Danny King writes comedy. When we started developing the script 10 years ago, a vampire comedy was a very hip thing to be doing, and that's what we started with. So I think the cross-genre film came from the fact that we had a load of actors in our phone books that had done both horror and comedy, and we knew that those are the people we'd use because they would do it as a favour. So it became that. I think that the whole project came about by the fact that we needed to make a budget-specific comedy in one location, which then became a farm in a woods. And when you're doing a film about a farm in a woods, it's always going to come out as a horror comedy, I think.
How has your acting contributed to your directorial debut? Is that right to say, directorial
Yeah,
debut?
I think that is definitely right, yeah.
Okay.
Am I acting? I mean, what was interesting was that, well, basically, the value of me to people who finance films is they know I've got a phone book full of actors' names and heads of departments. So my acting ability wasn't much use, but my acting contact was. I know I've been directed by some of the greatest directors in the world and some of the worst directors in the world. And if you're like me and you don't tend to sit in your caravan, you tend to sit behind the camera and watch how directors work, because that's what I love. You pick up a lot, it's osmotic. Eventually you're going to pick up a lot of those guys. And so I took the best of Fincher and the best of Guy Ritchie and Joe Wright and all those people I've worked with, Bertolucci, all those people. I took all the things that I thought they did well and tried to sort of cram them into my brain and reject all the things that I'd seen, badly managed actors and directing through fear and seeing people scared and nervous and upset and crying, and I just got rid of as much of that as I could and tried to create my own version of all of those people, and I think it kind of worked. We had a really good time and everyone was happy, and I think that is the best platform for good work from actors.
I can see that. It was quite, in terms of the dialogue and the ensemble, it seemed like everybody was having a good time.
Good.
You could get a sense of that. What do you think is lacking in our British, I'd say, horror comedy industry? Daylight Tucker versus Evil. We have even Australian Housebound. It was Housebound, Black Sheep. I think that's more New Zealand, but a lot of horror comedy. What's lacking in our industry?
I don't know. I'm not really in a position to answer that. But what I know is that when you cross genres, and also look, I mean, there's a vernacular to horror. There's, having worked with George Romero, I know that you can create boo scares with shots. I know that comedy can come with great talented actors and actresses. But the fact is, it's alchemy, it's not an exact science. There's no template to tell you how to do that. Shaun of the Dead had the money, yes. Shaun of the Dead, yes, had a talented director, yes, it had talented actors, but it works. And, Seven Psychopaths doesn't work. And it's not to do with lack of talent, it's just to do with the fact that it's alchemy. And there's not a template to tell you how to do it. So all I can do is keep doing what I do, make mistakes I do and learn from them, and hopefully the next one we'll be able to take it up another level. But I'd love to stay in that genre, I'd love to, I really would.
Okay, what do you think? I know you just touched on it a little bit, but I just want to push you a bit more. What do you think makes good horror And I would like your perspective from behind the camera and also in front of it.
Well, you know, I've got 6-year-old twin boys, right, who are thrilled by being scared. They're thrilled by it. But they don't want to be so scared that they can't sleep, and they don't want to be so scared that they cry. So it's the same with adults, right? And you have to make the audience frightened. You have to make them fear. You have to, you know, and that's done with shots. You know, if you shoot an empty room and a door creaks open, then you know something's going to happen. You know what I mean? And you have to follow through that. I mean, I don't think Eat Local's a great example of that, because I don't think it is just a classic boo scare horror movie. But you know, when you see a door creak open, that's enough. You know, what you then bring into the room is entirely up to you, obviously, or whether you bring anything into the room. But I think what makes a great horror film is the fact that you sit there scared out of your mind and look through your hands. I mean, that's got to be the definition of it, surely. How you do that is difficult, you know, but that's what you should strive for.
What if there was anything that you would do differently in this film? What would it be?
You know what? Me and my producer Rod Smith fought to get more money to make the film, and settled where we settled, and decided, as I think was the right decision, it's better to make a film with compromises financially than it is to not make the film. No one's interested in you saying, well, I turned them down, I didn't make that film, and no one's interested in that, you know. So if we'd had more time and more money, we could have done something different. But as what happened in Lock, Stock, which was a great learning process for me, when you have to be creative in order to answer questions, the answer to a problem, the solution to a problem is in the problem, you know. And so if you go, we've got 40 minutes to shoot this scene, there is no overtime, we're never coming back to this point, we have to do it. Then you get really creative, and then you put 2 actors front and centre and have all the action happen behind, and you see it through these 2 actors. That was scene 37. I'm more proud of that scene than anything. When we stayed Jordan, and it worked beautifully. But it was because you're up against it that you come up with that solution. It looks like a great creative decision, but really it's the only decision you could make. So what would I do differently? I'd have loved more money and more time.
That's brilliant. My favourite scene, I know it's a bit hokey, but well, not hokey in your work, but when they had the old lady and the old lady vampire, and she was there, and the way like you captured that, how people are so sweet,
yeah, she's great though,
adorable,
yeah,
and you captured that perfectly, and that was my favourite scene.
Thank you. I'm glad you like that scene. That was the hardest. You know what's really interesting about that scene? You're talking about when she pulls the blades out.
Yes.
That scene was the only scene we had time to shoot properly. It was shot completely and utterly formulaic, exactly how you meant to shoot a film. We shot wide, we had close-ups, we had tighter close-ups, we had mid-shots, we had plenty of time. And in fact, when I got it back to the edit, I was like, God, I don't know what to do with this, you know. I just don't know what to do with it. It seems to be quite clunky. But it's rescued by the fact, which is exactly like you said, it's rescued by the fact that Annette Crosby plays it so beautifully. Then when you're in trouble, you just cut to Annette, and you know you've always got something that's worth seeing. So thank you for saying that, because that's probably the most worrying scene I have in the film, but Annette rescued it.
I think that's all for now, because you've answered everything.
Perfect. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Go see it.